You are listening to The Final Score with Stevie Fly.
What's up, guys? Final Score back again. It's Tuesday night, and one of my favorite times of the year, guys. You know how big of an NFL fan, football fan I am. That is my first love in sports. And this week, we've got the NFL draft coming up this Thursday night. And guess where it's at? Pittsburgh, PA, for the first time. It makes that the stop at Pittsburgh with my Steelers. And as always, when we get this time of year, and I have a hard time keeping up how many years we've done this in a row, but I'm guessing 17 or 18 at least. But with me tonight is my mentor, my buddy, doing our mock draft again this year, Gattis Hodges. What's up, Gatmo?
I don't know, man, Stevie. How you doing, brother? I like your pictures you got on the preview there. I was kind of disappointed. I was looking at the last one with the jacket on. I said, man, that looks like a Raven.
No, you know what? I wasn't as adept on the AI as I am now. It looks like an actual Major League Soccer logo or something. No, I would have never put that picture up there if it had any. If I thought anybody thought it was a Ravens logo, that would never happen. But yeah, this time of year we always get together. You were gracious enough to let me come to the studio at your show at the 98.3, the Earl Studios for years, and then we picked it up on my podcast. But we've made a lot of picks over the years, and I'll tell you this: I need to send this to you. There's an app now. I just saw it this afternoon where you can pick the first round of the mock draft, and if you get the first round right, you could win $1 million.
Wow.
And you know what the chances of somebody doing that is?
We don't have a Chinaman's chance between us two. That's what's up. And the way we picked in the past.
Yeah, you've probably led the way there. Out of the 32 picks, you've got more in a year than I think you have the high score there. This year, I mean, unless the Davis family goes absolutely crazy and does something like, maybe drafting a punter in the first round or a kicker. Oh, they've done that before, but not with the first pick. They did draft Jamarcus Russell though, so that's worth. Did you hear? Jamarcus Russell finally got tired of all the people on social media talking about he was a bust and fired back at him.
Wow. I don't know how he don't have a leg to stand on, man.
No. Jeez, dude.
Man, I got a couple questions for you. What do you think about the draft being in what I saw Cam Hayward and Jerome Bettis the other night call it Pittsburgh for this week?
Pittsburgh.
What do you think about it being in Pittsburgh this week? That's pretty cool.
I love it, dude. I think it's going to be great. The moving, I do like it that they're moving around from city to city. Like I said, we talked about it before. If it comes to Charlotte, we need to head to Charlotte. But yeah, it's going to be great. But here's my thing. What are we going to do? We've got the most picks in the draft. We've got 12 picks. What are we going to do to make a splash in Pittsburgh? We don't have a quarterback yet. I mean, we don't know about our starter from last year yet. I'll say we do have two quarterbacks back that could play, but Aaron Rodgers still no decision on Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if it's on his side. I think it's more on his side making a decision, much like last year. But I thought for sure we would have a decision made by him by now, by draft time.
No, it's not his. That's not the way he rolls. You know that. And I think the Pittsburgh people, a lot of saw what he did last year. Give him a little more leniency this year than they did last year. I know Cam Hayward was talking about it on the Rich Eisen's show the other day. He said he knows that we want him back. But let me ask you this while we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Who's likely to make an appearance in Pittsburgh for the draft? Mike Tomlin or Aaron Rodgers?
Ooh, I don't think either one of them would be. You saw the news about Tomlin today, didn't you?
Yes. He could be there as a member of the media.
He could be there. He could be there as a member of the media. Of course, for those of you who haven't heard, Mike Tomlin will be on Football Night in America on NBC this upcoming season. So that prediction held true that he would take at least this year and be part of the media. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if either one of them would be there, but if I was guessing, I would guess, with Tomlin would be there, it would be more likely for him to be there than Aaron Rodgers, really. Unless Aaron Rodgers signs to tomorrow or Thursday.
I agree.
Yeah.
And if he was in WWE, if this were WrestleMania, you never know who would show up.
Pat McAfee. I mean, of course,
right.
Pat McAfee supposedly retired from wrestling now. So he said wrestling has been good to me. Greg Acre showing up. Will Howard is the future for the Steelers. I will say this. I think Will Howard needs a shot just to see what he can do. He may not be the future. And Greg, you may be being sarcastic because you're a Chargers fan. I know you don't like the Steelers, but I would say I would love to have seen him last year in the preseason. Unfortunately, he went down with an injury early in preseason, didn't get any snaps. So we really haven't got to see what he's all about, but good sized kid. I mean, he's got that championship pedigree from Ohio State. I mean, I don't see what it would hurt to give him a shot just to see. Oh, Greg said he wasn't being sarcastic. So I would love to see Will Howard get a shot. As long as he had the weapons, and I think now with Michael Pittman coming over with DK Metcalf, if the Steelers have 12 picks, if they can get manage to get another one of these wide receivers in the first or second round, you could have a good core receiver. I don't know. Roman Wilson still hasn't shown me anything. So we'll have to see what Pittsburgh does with that. Oh, he does this like the Steelers. Not so much the Steelers as the fans that annoy me. Is that a shot at me? Are you taking shots at me already? Do I need to put my Pat McAfee gear on and take down Greg Acre already tonight?
What do you think about, you talk about the 12 picks. There's 9 new coaches in the league, and one of the new ones is Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh, Steve. You think he has a hand on where they go? If they go quarterback or wherever they go, he's always been a pretty good offensive guy.
I think he does. I heard him say one of the podcasts I listened to the other day said, I'm not – everybody says we're going to trade some of these picks. Who knows? I may use all 12 of these picks. And it's different with Pittsburgh this year because you're so used to the last 3 coaches being defensive mind coaches. McCarthy, like you said, offensive mind. This draft could be totally different than what you've seen in years past with Pittsburgh. I would love to see the kid from Penn State, the offensive lineman from Penn State, fall to us, but I think he'll be long gone before that. Some of these picks tonight with me, I'm doing something a little different this year. I'm going maybe with my heart, more with my head. So with my head doesn't work as much as it did as it has last year. So I went some with my heart, though.
I understand.
What do you think about your boys? What direction are we headed with the Cowboys?
They're going defense. I think both picks. I think they'll keep both picks and go defense with both. They've got to improve on the defensive side. I would love to see them. You were talking about what you'd like to see Pittsburgh. I would love to see Dallas move up to the 5th or 6th pick and get Sonny Styles. I think he's the best defensive player in the draft. He's got great leadership qualities. His dad was a former NFL player. And was moved from strong safety to outside linebacker, so he can cover that linebacker spot and drop back in the secondary as well, and can even move up and play the edge. But that's not Jerry's MO when it comes to the draft. He rarely trades up, and he doesn't have a second-round pick. So I think he's got to wisely use those first 2 picks to try to improve that defense, and I think that's what you'll see the Cowboys do.
Greg Acre being sarcastic now. Steelers versus Cowboys Super Bowl.
I'll take it.
I'll take it too. If we get to the Super Bowl, I would be pleasantly surprised.
Look, we played Northampton and Northeast Academy. I'd take it.
We'll
and then the Super Bowl.
We'll beat the Chargers this year in the AFC Championship game, though. We won't do like we did in '94. So, number one pick, we'll get right into it. Let's get right into it. Number one pick is pretty much a lock. Unless, like we said before, unless the Raiders, I think his name's Mark Davis, is Al Davis's son, that unless he just goes full Al Davis and decides to pick a kicker or punter with the first pick, which I don't think that's going to happen, But like we talked before we came on the air, Jamarcus Russell is not out there. But the Raiders I got the Raiders with the number one pick. Taking a quarterback, no surprise here. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback from Indiana. I think that's a lock there. Mendoza has said he would not be in Pittsburgh. And you got to give it up for the kid because people were giving him a little crap about not being there. But he came out and talked about his due to health issues of his mother, and he's trying to make it as easy on his family as possible. So you got to give it up for the kid for that. But after this, with quarterbacks, it's slim picking. So I think if the Raiders are looking for a quarterback, you got Kirk Cousins there now. Geno Smith was not the answer. He did not have the year with the Raiders that he did with the Seahawks. So, yeah, I think they got Mendoza here. I'm assuming that Gatmo probably feels the same way, but who knows? Let's see.
Absolutely. 3,535 yards, 41 touchdowns, and just played great against top competition. I mean, just look what they went through in the playoffs and in the Big Ten. He beat Ohio State, he beat Alabama, he beat Miami, he beat Oregon. And all those teams, and he executed. He executes at a high level, Stevie, and he doesn't make mistakes. That's the thing. But what made Indiana so good, they did not beat themselves, and he was a reason because of it. He had only 6 interceptions on the year. So Mendoza's exactly the type quarterback, the NFL quarterback that teams are looking for. His own talent's real. He's a great decision maker. I like to pick for the Raiders. Whoever he went to, I would like to pick because he's a terrific player. And man, was he gutsy down the stretch for Indiana?
Yeah, that championship game, making that big run and taking that hit, and getting the touchdown to go ahead or to put them ahead for good. That showed me a lot there. So sorry, Greg Acree. Chargers won't even make the playoffs. Well, we'll see, but. You're going to have some competition at quarterback in that league for Justin Herbert with Mendoza there. He might sit the bench for a little while with Cousins there, but we'll see. Want to throw a shout out to Rob Myers, Troy Smith Jr. for the likes so far. Hopefully you guys will enjoy tonight. Number 2 with the Jets. Who you got, Gatmo?
Well, I like the Jets. They need an edge rusher. Jets are about as bad as the Raiders are when it comes to the draft, to be honest, here over the last few years. Yeah. And I like David Bailey, the 6'3.5", 251-pound young man out of Texas Tech. He's rated the number 2 edge rusher by the group that I was looking that rated the players. The number 1 is the Bain kid from down in Miami, and I have him going on later on. Matter of fact, he might be in New York with David Bailey, but David Bailey's first step is among the best in the class. And, once he clears the corner, man, he can get it done. And quarterbacks will be in serious trouble. He had 13.5 sacks, and his pressure rate was 23.4%. And he posted that against Big 12 competition. So I think he's the guy that goes to number 2 spot.
Yeah, I switched back and forth with 2 of these guys at number 2 for a while, and then I went a little bit different. I got him taking Orville Reese from Ohio State. That's going to be – you're going to hear, at least on mine, and I'm sure with Gatmo's, you're going to hear Ohio State's name called a lot, especially in his first few picks. But he's a good linebacker. Like you said, the Jets, not only in the draft, but making decisions personnel-wise has not been good here lately. Justin Fields, they put all that money with Justin Fields to get him as quarterback. That didn't work out. Of course, everybody said, well, Pittsburgh had him a year before, but we didn't pay a whole lot for him. So we let him go. But, yeah, I think he's got great instincts. He's athletic. And he can play inside linebacker, or he can play the edge too. So I think that was one of the things that swayed it my way with Arvell Reese. But I got him going to the Jets at number 2. All right, number 3. Arizona Cardinals. Now, this was one I'm kind of wondering about here, because I don't know if this is more smoke to try to show some other team's hands, or maybe trade bait here. But I went ahead and went with it because I'm hearing a lot of rumors that Arizona Cardinals would take this guy, but I still would not be surprised if we see a trade here. Arizona needs help pretty much everywhere. And I've got them taking Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. The Commanders, the Titans are both in play for this guy. And like I said, this could be a lot of smoke to get somebody to trade up and get some more draft capital for them, because they need so many things. But I'm going to go ahead and put Love in at number 3. I think he'll get taken at number 3, whether it's a trade or not.
I'm with you. I think they take Jeremiah Love. And I was listening to Michael Wilbon from Pardon Interruption this morning. He kind of changed my mind on taking Love. And he said, Arizona, he's like you, Stevie. He said they need a lot. He said, but they need a face of that franchise. Since Larry Fitzgerald left, Kyler Murray's not there anymore. They need a face of that franchise, and Jeremiah Love can give it. I think he's the best player in the draft. Pang for pang. By far the best running back in the draft. He can catch it out of the backfield. He can run the football. But I think this is a great pick for Arizona. Like you said, they need a lot. But I think Jacoby Brissett and Garrett Minshew, the quarterbacks they're leaning on right now, Love can take a lot of pressure off those guys out of that backfield. And I like the pick. Like I said, I think he's the best player in the draft.
Yeah, I've got one more that's right there with him that I think is the best talent in the draft, but we'll get to him in just a minute. But yeah, you could see somebody move up. I don't know. Like I said, I just got a feeling that may be the spot for a trade there, with Tennessee maybe swapping and Arizona getting some more capital out of it. But because Tennessee's another team that needs a little bit of everything too. But we'll get right to Tennessee. Who you got Tennessee taking, Gatmo?
Well, Tennessee's coming off a 3-14 season, and they got a defensive guy as a new head coach of Robert Saleh. But their need is in the offensive line. And I think they've got the guy from down at Miami, Francis Maui Noah, 6'5.5", 329. He's rated the number 1 offensive lineman. He's a tone setter who brings a big physical mentality that the line coaches dream of having. I really like him, and I think he can anchor that line and they can build around him. But I like him taking Francis Maui Noah from out of Miami.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to tell you, Gatmo did a great job on that name. I'm going to butcher some of these names tonight, so excuse us for that, because I will butcher some of these names tonight. One of them, I hope it gets called for Pittsburgh. I know I'll butcher his name, but we'll see. I've got him going defense, and a guy you talked about earlier out of Texas Tech, defensive end David Bailey. With the new coach coming to Saylor coming in there, and they have one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. I think they need help there quickly, and I think David Bailey, great edge rusher. I think this is going to be number 4 pick. I can't see him going past number 4 here with David Bailey, but that's who I got going to the Titans at number 4. All right, 5th pick. So the Giants, 2 of their picks in the first 10 picks after the trade with the Bengals. Giants, new coach, Mr. Harbaugh's there. He finally saw the light and got out of Baltimore. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you, John Harbaugh. I know you got that purple out of there. good to go. In another conference too. They need help. Cornerback, they need a little bit of everything. But I've got them going offense here. Jackson Dart needs another weapon. I've got him taking Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State. Speedy guy. He's got explosive. He makes explosive plays, and he's not small either. The only thing that's a drawback for Jordan Tyson is the injury prone, and that's something you don't need, especially after last year with the Giants. When Scatterbo got injured, and pretty much the whole secondary went down. So, but I got him taking Jordan Tyson with the 5th pick.
Well, I like the Giants. John Harbaugh, I think, will do a good job in New York. They only won 4 games last year. And you just mentioned the injuries to the Scatterbo, and they kind of went downhill after that. But I think they're going to go linebacker. And the guy who I really like in this draft, Sonny Styles, is the guy they are picked.
Oh, wow.
6'5", 244. Listen to these numbers, Stevie. 4.46 40, 43.5 vertical leap, 11 foot and 2 inches broad jump at 244 pounds.
Yeah.
Man, that shows he's got such freakish ability. Plus, he's a great leader. His dad played in the NFL. Just a great player. And Sonny Styles had 82 tackles last year for that good Ohio State defense.
Another Ohio State guy coming off the board there. And I'll talk a little bit about him in just a few minutes. But number 6, Cleveland Browns, Gatmo, who you got?
I got the guy you just had the Giants taking, Jordan Tyson. And I really thought hard about him and Cornell Tate. Tate played right there in Ohio State. But Tyson's surely risen up the board here of late. Like you said, he's been injury plagued. He's the 3rd best wide receiver on the board in the draft. He's got great body control, competitive. He's a competitive guy. Just wins with just his physical tools. I mean, he's just got a great way of catching the football. It's just a small sample size for him because he's been hurt so much. But he had 61 catches last year for over 700 yards and 8 touchdowns against the Arizona State team that really relied on him after Scatterbo graduated prior to the season. But if he can hold out, he's probably NFL All-Pro down the line if he can stay away from injuries.
Yep. Cleveland's, I've said it before, Cleveland is one of those teams that could screw up a 2-car funeral. And you give them, maybe Kevin Costner needs to come and be the GM. It seems to work out better in the movies than it does in real life for them. And here's one spot. You talked about your boys. That was against Jerry Jones' MO to move up. But here's a spot that I think the Cowboys could possibly move up to. Move up to number 6. If they were going to do it, it would be right here. And maybe Sonny Styles is on the board, but that's not who I've got Cleveland picking. I've got them going offensive line. Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah. They had a guy at tackle that they thought was going to be great, Jedrick Willis. He never worked out and eventually got released. So if they're going to go with Shador, because I don't, some people talking about Ty Simpson. No, Ty Simpson's not going to go 6th. And I don't think he even go to the 1st round. But you got to have some, whoever they put at quarterback, whether Shador or Dylan Gabriel or Deshaun Watson, whoever they put at quarterback's got to have some protection. I like this guy from Utah, Spencer Fano from Utah, being at that left tackle for them.
Stevie, you mentioned quarterback at Cleveland. There was one draft board I looked at. I was looking what teams really need, and a lot of them had the first thing they needed was a quarterback. Well, you got Watson, you got Sanders, you got Gabriel. I mean, I don't think you need another quarterback in that mix.
Well, look, how many did they have to start the year last year? They had 5 quarterbacks starting the year last year, and this was after preseason. This wasn't preseason. They had 5 quarterbacks there last year. So
and a new coach as well, Todd Monken this season. So
we'll see. Another coach in Cleveland, but I don't know. I just maybe one year Cleveland will get right. Maybe this is the year. I hope not, but we'll see. Seventh pick, Washington Commanders. This is interesting here. Dan Quinn, he's defensive minded. And if this guy falls to him at number 7, this will be a great pickup for any team, much less a defensive minded like Dan Quinn with the Commanders. Somebody you talked about earlier, Sonny Styles, linebacker for the Ohio State. The middle of the field was the command. I keep on calling them the Redskins. They'll always be the Redskins to me. Bobby Wagner, God bless him. He's had a great career, but he's not the player he was. They need somebody there that can make plays. And just like you said, you talked about his stats, as athletic as he is and as smart as he is, I think this would be a great pickup if he fell to number 7 for Washington here. Probably. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to go with his running mate on the other side of the defense, Arvell Reese.
Oh, so you got Reese.
Yeah, I got Reese going to Washington. He's got the best closing speed in the draft. And he played half the snaps as the edge rusher. So he can play outside linebacker or edge and the other half in the box. So he's a versatile player. But like I said, got the best closing speed in the draft, 6'4", 241. I tell you, man, he is some player. How did Ohio State not win the national championship? My goodness.
What did you say before we went on the air?
Right.
Well, the one spot that they didn't have all that talent at, and they had inexperience at. I mean, give it to the freshman. He won some big games, but I think that inexperienced quarterback was the difference there.
Yeah, and you look at Reese's numbers, 69 tackles, but 6.5 sacks, which shows what kind of speed and getting off that edge is the ability he has to. He'll be good wherever he goes, and I'm sure Washington will be glad to get he or Styles, either one.
Oh, yeah, either one of them. Yeah, no doubt. All right, number 8, the Saints. Who you got, Gatmo?
Well, I'm going to stay at Ohio State. I've been so good with them so far. They got all the good players. I like him going wide receiver, Carnell Tate, 6'2.5", 192 pounds, second wide receiver on the board. He's a polished, technically same receiver. He wins with precision and body control, man. He's just really, really good. When I look at Tate's numbers, 51 catches, 875 yards, 9 touchdowns. And New Orleans needs a wide receiver. That was their number one thing. That was 6-11 years ago. That was the number one thing they needed, and that was a wide receiver. And I think he certainly fits the bill down in New Orleans.
Yeah, Olave is – you can't exactly – count on him staying healthy. He's good when he's out there, but he doesn't stay healthy. But I do have them going the opposite side of the ball, but keeping it Ohio State, one of the most talented, another talented defender from Ohio State. Some concerns about a knee injury, but all the teams are saying now that that's no concern with them. I got them taking Caleb Downs. This guy, I mean, that defense for Ohio State, how did anybody ever score on this defense for Ohio State with all these superstars?
I agree, man. And he's the number one safety in this draft.
Yeah, I think he's going to be if he can stay healthy, you're looking at an all-pro safety right there, one of the guys you're going to talk about for years to come. But I've got him taking Caleb Downs at number 8 for the Saints. Let's see. Number 9. Wow. We're not used to seeing these guys pick this early, but a very down year for the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Swift. You're looking at a chance that I haven't heard much about Mahomes, how his injury is, the rehab's progressing with him, but they need help. It could be a wide receiver, but I've got him going defense here. And this guy's been talked about for some off-the-field issues that come from a few years ago. And, we've talked about this for years. Even I want to say, was it Josh Allen one year that night before the draft, some stuff started coming out from a post that he made years ago. And I'll tell you this. Let me tell you guys this. It's a funny story. Well, not a funny story, but something I remember till well, I'm not coaching anymore, but this man right here told me, don't ever post anything on social media, especially as a coach, that you don't want to come back and bite you later on, because somebody will find out later on. And Gattis told me that years ago, and I've always remembered that. And it comes back to bite some of these kids. Maybe not so much with Josh Allen. Obviously, it was not a issue there. And Reuben Bain with an accident from a couple years ago, a fatal accident that the family of the victim does not even hold him responsible for. They wished him well, but Reuben Bain, I've got him going number 9 to Chiefs, defensive end from Miami. Some issues talking about his short arms, but gosh knows, I think this is a guy that you're going to hear from for years to come right here. But I got the Chiefs taking Reuben Bain.
Well, I don't have them taking Bain, but I have them going corner. And you're right, Stevie, about that coaching thing. The one thing I tell young kids when I speak to them, I tell anybody, your social media is your life's resume. Somebody else, you might not can find it, but somebody else can for certain. But that's something everybody needs to learn from. But I got Kansas City going to secondary. They need some help in the secondary. I think they're going to grab the number 1 rated cornerback, Mansour Delane from out of LSU, 6', 187. He's the most instinctive quarterback in the class. Plus, he runs a 4.38 40. Had 45 tackles, a couple of interceptions last year for LSU. That didn't have an exceptionally good team, but he was kind of the main guy on that defense for LSU. I think he'll fit right in at Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City. I mean, do you think it's over for Kansas City? Do you think the age is catching up with them, and you think this is the Super Bowl windows have closed for them?
It depends on whether Mahomes is going to play or not. I think Kelsey's coming back. I think he thinks he's going to come back. He wants to run it back again with him. And Kansas City's got 2 picks in this draft. They got to pick again at 29, so they got a chance to really improve this team. But if Mahomes is not back and not 100%, I don't think they can run it to the Super Bowl. But that's just my opinion. But I think Kelsey's coming back thinking that Mahomes will be there. And can they run it back? Who knows? Last year they kind of looked like they had aged out to me, but
yeah, they looked a little slow last year. I mean, it wasn't that same fire. Even the year before, a lot of the games they had to come from behind to win. Not saying that's a problem, but that was just not how Kansas City was in their prime years. I just think I hate to say it because I said it about Tom Brady for so many years. I think this is it. I think this is the year they don't do it, and he kept on proving me wrong. But number 10, New York Giants get this pick from Cincinnati for the Dexter Lawrence pick, which I think I'll give my props to Cincinnati. If they wanted to get somebody in that middle, I think you got just as good as you would have get anybody in the draft. I mean, there's not a lot of defensive linemen in the draft that are going to be as good as Dexter Lawrence is. And you may get another 2 or 3 years out of him. They went ahead and extended him. Now, this is what I wonder about this. You're going to pay Dexter Lawrence, but you wouldn't pay Trey Hendrickson. I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah, I've heard some talk about that this week about him being really good off the edge. But I was listening to, oh my goodness, the guy who played with the LA Rams that just retired, offensive lineman who works on the Amazon on Thursday nights.
Wentworth.
Talk about him last night. And he said the knock on Hendrickson is you can run right at him. He said every time they played him, their run game was to run right at him. He said now he was quick off the corner and get to the quarterback. He said, but he was not very good at all against the run. And maybe that's what they're thinking. But, DeMarcus Lawrence has had a great career. He's a young man from North Carolina, played at Wake Forest High School, played on the state championship team, then went down to Clemson, won a national championship. He just didn't like the way they wanted to restructure his contract. And so he had turned down a couple of offers from the Giants. They did what they thought was best. And who knows? I think the Giants going to end up making out on it in the long run if they select who I think they're going to select.
Let me ask you this while we're talking about Hendrickson. The whole Max Crosby deal with the Ravens. I've never, don't remember, put it that way, all the years I've been watching football, somebody making a trade and then free agency come along and then you back out of that trade before the official day because, and you say what you want to, Ravens fans, I hate the Ravens. I'll say this to the day I die. I hate the Ravens. If this had happened with any other team, I'd find fault with that team too. When you find out you got fleeced in free agency, you lost some of your best players, and you gave up 2 first-round picks, one for this year, one for that next year, and you said, hey, we lost more than we thought we were going to lose. We need to back out of this. You got cold feet. Anybody saying they thought every GM in football knew Max Crosby would not pass that physical with that if they gave it to him that time. And the Ravens had to know that going into it. I think it was just cold feet, and it was a crappy way to do things, do business. And I think a lot of the other teams thought the same thing. And I'm not just saying that because the Ravens had. The Steelers had done it that way, I would have found fault with the Steelers too. But what were your thoughts on that whole Max Crosby deal?
I'm with you. And he's trying to get somebody to pass him down the line and pay him some money. And I'm with you. I was really shocked that they tried to pull that off and him not being able to pass that physical.
And especially when you got him just took his physical in the facility, and on the other side of the facility, Trey Hendrickson is there. They're getting ready to sign him. When that came out, the Ravens tried to spin it their way. Well, we had planned on signing both of them. We were going to try to sign both of them. Give me a break. You won't sign both of them. That was never your plan. You wanted Hendrickson to back up because you didn't have to give up any draft capital for Hendrickson. You had your first-round pick back. There you go. So, yeah, come at me if you want to, Ravens fans. That's fine. But you'll never convince me that wasn't the case, that you guys got cold feet about the trade.
And another thing you got to look at, too, on the other side of it, you never know what Crosby and Hendrickson were trying to do from a money standpoint.
Yeah.
To up their contract, to up their money where they're currently at. So it's kind of two ways you can look at it as well. That happens a lot in the coaching arena in the college football level. The guys will go interview for a job knowing they're not going to take it, trying to up the ante from them, trying to get more money. And I think that may have been a little bit of that involved as well.
But, that could have really screwed up some things that went on. It's the dumbest thing for the NFL to do is to have this legal tampering period. And a situation just like this could, the Raiders made moves thinking that Max Crosby's salary was off their salary cap total. Now, it didn't. They still had enough to have him on with that, but that could have really messed up. And what about the Cowboys were trying to get Crosby, and they go ahead and make the deal with the Packers for Rashawn Gary. Now, my question was, can the Cowboys back out of that trade and go after Crosby? But the Cowboys, they did the right thing. They stuck with Gary, and that, that's what they should have done.
Right. And speaking of something you just mentioned, it. I was listening to Cam Hayward on the same Rich Eisen show the other day when I was doing some traveling around, and he mentioned, I thought it kind of funny. He said, nobody pays attention to the cap.
No, not till it's too late. Yeah.
You can go back and listen to that. It's archived on Rich Eisen's show.
I'll listen to it.
And he said nobody pays attention to the cap. So.
Lord have mercy. All right. Moving on to number 10. The New York Giants, like I said, with their second pick. I've got them taking with the guy you just talked about, Mansour Delane, cornerback from LSU. Harbaugh wants to go defense here. He's got his offense with the first pick. Goes with the cornerback, which they had some issues keeping the cornerback, that secondary, healthy last year. So getting a top-rated quarterback like Delane, and hopefully for the Giants fans, for you, Matthew Bazemore and Brown out there, I know you guys were looking for a better year this year. Maybe you'll get a better year. But I got to take a Mansour Delaney from LSU. Who you got, Gatmo?
Well, I'm going to defensive side of the ball, and John Harbaugh has always been a guy that liked University of Miami players. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, a couple come to mind. He's going to go with Ruben Bain. If he's available at that number 10 spot, you put him in Sonny Styles in that defense.
Oh, good gosh.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, Ruben Bain's the number one edge. And I was reading about what you talked about, his short arms, sub 31-inch arms, and he only weighs 265. He's kind of undersized for his traditional edge alignment, but, man, he's so explosive, and he can move down inside if necessary. And his versatility is the best among the edge rushers. But, well, you put him in Styles in that defense for the Giants, they get a whole lot better real quickly.
And who was the gosh, if you put him with – I'm looking at the depth chart right now. The guy they just – you got Brian Burns already there. You got Thibodeau there. Abdul Carter there. That could be scary. If they had
your front seven sounds pretty good.
Yes, that could be scary right there. So Giants fans, it could be hope for you. All right, number 11, Miami Dolphins. So you got Mo.
Well, I got him. Guy you had picked earlier, Caleb Downs. They need some defensive help. The Dolphins. Dolphins got 2 picks in this first round as well. They got another one coming up in the 30th spot. They need some help in the secondary, and he's the number one safety on the board that I read. He plays the safety position the way it's designed to be played here in the modern NFL football. And, you look at Downs, 68 tackles, 2 interceptions, recovered 2 fumbles, had 1 sack, 5'11 and a half, 206 pounds. Just a guy that can play safety, man. He can really go get it. He's one of the best in the draft, and especially at the safety spot.
Yeah. All right, I got him. The Tua era is over. Now you got the Malik Willis era starts, and they didn't hesitate. The Dolphins didn't hesitate to sign him with free agency. I kind of wonder how that's going to work out. I know he did well coming in as a backup for Green Bay, but I'm just wondering how that's going to work out with him as a starter every week. But we'll see. He was highly as a draft pick. He did not go as high as some people thought he should, but we'll see about that. But I've got him going offensive line. I've got him taking a guy from Alabama. I've got him taking Caden Proctor, offensive tackle of Alabama. They've got a dismal offensive line. With that second pick, I think they can go with that second pick and get a receiver, but I think they need to go early and get this offensive lineman from Alabama, Caden Proctor.
And Proctor's a really good player. A lot of people really like him high on the draft boards, and you're right. They can go a little bit later on and possibly get a wide receiver, can Miami. But Stevie, like I said, Caleb Downs is my guy. So
yeah. All right, so here we go. First of 2 picks here for the Cowboys here. Who you got at number 12?
Well, Cowboys need some linebacker help. I don't know if this guy can do it or not. He's a guy from Clemson. He's rated the 4th best linebacker, 6'1", 230. Linebacker C.J. Allen played at Clemson in Georgia. I thought it was Clemson he played at, but it may be Georgia.
Yes,
but I'm not sure. He played at Georgia. He had 88 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 6'1", 230. Anybody that plays for Kirby Smart is good by me. I was thinking he was with Clemson, but he's exactly what defensive coordinators like. He's a modern off-the-ball linebacker. I don't think he's going to be that Micah Parsons guy that's going to be all over the place, but I think he'll be solid at the linebacker spot.
All right. Well, I've got him going defense. I've got him going at a defensive end. This guy didn't have the greatest season last year, but he's played well, and he's got a really good upside. He got a great mix of power and speed. I've got him taking Keldrick Falk from Alabama. Who was it you had, Yatmo?
I had C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia.
I got you. All right. 13th pick, L.A. Rams. So you got Devontae Adams, you got Puka Nacua, two great receivers. So why not add a third? And it's a guy you talked about a little bit earlier with the 8th pick. I'm going Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State, because Matthew Stafford working on another extension. This guy's going to play. If he might play as long as Brady did, but give him another weapon. And Carnell Tate, tall, breakout sophomore year. He's got a great upside. And to be in that trio with Nacua and Adams, I think that's only going to help him right there. And I think you'll see a great rookie year from this guy. But I got taking Carnell Tate at number 13.
I think that the Rams need to protect Stafford a little bit better, and I think they're going to go with offensive tackle Spencer Fano, guy you had earlier in your draft, second-rate offensive lineman, 6'5.5", 311 pounds. They said at the NFL Combine, so he was most one of the gifted athletes to go through the offensive line position in years with the numbers that he produced at the Combine and posting the top overall Combine score among all tackles there. So he's a guy that can play on that right side or that left side. And a lot of you probably noticed a lot of Utah linemen in the NFL over the years.
Oh, yeah.
They're usually pretty good players. So I think he's a perfect fit with the Rams.
I'll let you take number 14 pick, Baltimore Ravens here, so you can.
Baltimore Ravens. I got no problem with the Baltimore Ravens. Not like you have. So, but they don't play in my division.
Exactly.
Jesse Mentor's come back. He's a defensive guy, but they need some help in the offensive line. I've got them going with the young man out of Penn State, Vega Ioana. He's the fourth offensive lineman in the draft. He's a pass protection first guard in this league. Increasingly values, he's got a good skill set for it. And some of the people that I read said it was a 20-25 tape in a clinic that he put on in pocket integrity. He didn't allow any sacks, 0 hits. And a quarterback could set up the shot back there and stay there all day long. But he didn't give up a hit of the guy he defended all season long or a sack. So he's NFL ready to step in and do the job from Penn State.
That is one on my wish list right there. But I know unless we trade up, he'll never fall to us. But he's on my wish list. But all right, for the Ravens. So Likely is gone at tight end. Mark Andrews he's seen his better years. He's on the downside, I think. So you got to get a tight end for Lamar, so Lamar can have another reason to lose the big game again. Anyway, did I say that? Anyway, Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon, fast tight end, big guy. This is exactly the kind of weapon that Baltimore loves to have. And I think this guy's going to, as bad as I hate to say it, I think this guy's going to be a huge weapon for Baltimore if they pick him at number 14 and make a big difference with Lamar. But, I've got Sadiq.
He's really good. He's weighted number 1 tight end in his draft. I think he's going to stay on the East Coast, but I think he's going to go a little further south.
I got you.
But getting back to Pittsburgh, trading up, they got the most picks in the draft. You got 12 in the draft. Don't you think you can spare a few and trade up?
I hope so, because let me tell you, if this is one of them right here that I really want. I mean, just like you talked about, he's a monster. I mean, and this is exactly what we need. With the offensive line is young and it's up and coming, but we still need another piece to it. And this guy would fit perfectly in Pittsburgh. He's a Penn State guy. I would love to see them take some of them picks and move up and get this guy, because I don't think there's any way he falls to 21.
What better place to make a big splash than in your hometown on draft night, man?
Exactly. And you got all these picks, just like you said. You don't need to use all 12 picks, no matter what Mike McCarthy might say. You don't need to use all those. Here's one of our buddies here, Mike Morgan. Yes, I agree. Go Steelers, Mike. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Mike is a good friend of the shows. Hopefully, we get Mike on one day up here to talk some Steelers.
But, Mike and I have worked some ball games and stuff together over the years.
Yeah, I'm sure. You and Mike could pass for brothers. I've said that over the years because talking to Mike sometimes I feel like I've told my daughter, I said, I feel like I'm talking to Gattis when I talk to Mike. He's got that. I guess it's that radio voice. But yeah, both of y'all, y'all really could pass for brothers to me, and that's a compliment to both of you, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Mike. I'm not throwing shade at Mike. Can't throw shade at Steelers fans. So, 15th, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay starts off last year. You think that's one of the teams that's, Baker Mayfield. They're really going to make a oh gosh, I got to put it up here. Mike had a comment up here. He said he was prettier.
I agree.
I'll get to your other comment after this in just a minute, Mike. I'm not going to forget about you. But Tampa Bay, they fell apart down the stretch. But I've got them going offensive line, and as much as I hate to say it, the guy you just talked about, Ione from Penn State, he's going to be protecting Baker Mayfield next year. But gosh knows, I hope we see a trade right here. We get a trade. It's not going to be at 14. So they're going to, if Pittsburgh does it, they're going to have to trade before 14 because Baltimore is not going to trade with them. I mean, Baltimore is not going to help a division guy. So I've heard talk about the Cowboys. I've heard talk about the Chiefs, but I don't know. I don't know how they'll work it out, but hopefully they can work it out and get this guy for Tampa Bay takes it with it. Who you got the Buccaneers taking, guys?
I think they need some help up front on the edge. Akeem Mesidor, young man out of Miami, 6'3", 259. He's rated way down the line, though, number 8. Yeah. He's the 8th best edge rusher, but there's a lot to like about him when you look at his tape. His pass rush toolbox ranks among the deepest in the entire class. And, you look at his numbers, he had 63 tackles. But here's the big deal, Stevie. He had 12 and a half sacks for Miami. And we've called out a lot of Miami guys, too, much like Ohio State. But Miami made the big game. The other team didn't. So
exactly.
Miami's got some really good players.
Mike Morgan saying, I love Gattis Hodges. Yeah.
Love Mike as well. He's my guy there.
And, Mike, this is the question I want to get to. Is Will Howard going to be a franchise quarterback? Franchise quarterback, I don't know. But I do like his leadership capabilities with Ohio State. He's got, like I said, he's got that championship pedigree. He's a big quarterback. Pittsburgh likes him. I just want to see him get a chance. I would love to see him get a chance out there. And like I said, last year, preseason, he gets hurt, doesn't get to get any snaps. So we really didn't get to see a lot of them. So hopefully preseason we'll get to see a little bit of that sample of what Will Howard can do. Of course, preseason doesn't mean anything because Kenny Pickett lit it up in preseason. And we see Kenny Pickett's on his 4th or 5th team now as a backup quarterback. So
and at Carolina, right?
Yep, he's at Carolina. I had to go down there and catcall him if I go see the Panthers play this year. Should have stayed in Pittsburgh as a backup. Yeah. Anyway, 16th. The Jets picking the second pick here. What you got, Gatmon?
I got them going wide receiver, and I think they're going to take the Biletnikoff award winner, and the number 1 receiver on the board, Mekhi Lemon, young man out of Southern Cal. Lemon didn't have but 79 catches for almost 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. He averaged 14.6 yards per catch. He is really a great right runner. and only 5'11", so that he knows how to get in position and runs good routes, and he's reliable. So I think Mekhi Lemon has that opportunity to go play for the Green New York Jets.
I've got the same here. This is another guy that is on my wish list for Pittsburgh. Would love to see him get a receiver or offensive lineman would be probably what Pittsburgh picks in the first round. But this guy, if he would fall, or if they can move up for this guy, I would not be disappointed at all with this pick right here. But like you said, I've got him going to the Jets also. Another great USC wide receiver here. So, and hey, if Pittsburgh gets him, there was another USC wide receiver out there that wore number 88. We would love to see another 88 win a few Super Bowls like Lynn Swann did. So, all right, number 17, Detroit Lions. Who you got, Gatmo?
Well, I got him going offensive lineman. I don't know if he'll stay in the draft this long or not, but I got Caden Proctor going at 17. 6'6.5", 352 pounds, third-rated offensive lineman. He weighs 352 pounds. He got a 32.5-inch vertical leap and runs in the low 5.2s. Guy's a future All-Pro, I think, and maybe the best offensive lineman in this draft.
Do you think with the Lions losing both your offensive and your defensive coordinator hurt the Lions last year?
Absolutely it did. Absolutely it did. And
that first game they played, they just looked really off. I mean, they didn't look like they had any rhythm or anything. And it got better as the year went on. But still, with Campbell, I think he started calling the offense. But I would love to see. Detroit was a good story a couple years ago. Of course, Washington beats them in the divisional round, but it's still a good story here. But I just don't know how much longer that window's open for Detroit here as far as having a chance to get to that Super Bowl with this team right here. But I've got them going offensive line as well. I've got them taking Monroe Freeland, offensive tackle from Georgia. Taylor Decker leaves. You've got to replace him, and you got Proctor there. I've got Freeland here, so I think we're both on the same page there. He's a good pass protector, and he's a better pass protector than a run blocker, but I think that this is where they go with here. Both of us feel like they go offensive line. So
and SEC guys is that. Both of them SEC guys. So
exactly. Number 18, Minnesota Vikings. We got some Vikings fans out there. Listen, John Michael, McKinley Jordan. The only two Vikings fans I know, I think. Vikings need some help on defense. Of course, you pick up a quarterback, but you got to have some defense help. Harrison Smith is no longer there, long-time safety. But I've got him going defensive tackle. I've got him taking another Clemson guy. Got him taking Peter Woods, defensive tackle out of Clemson. Very disruptive interior lineman, and as good as that defense was last year, it still needs some help up there. But I think this is going to be a good pickup for the Vikings with Peter Woods.
Stevie, I like him going with a guy you've already let somebody else have tonight, and that's defensive lineman Keldrick Falk from out of Auburn. Mm-hmm. This shows his versatility. He's rated the second best defensive lineman and the third best edge rusher, so he can play any position up front. And in the run defense, he's one of the most complete and punishing edge rushers, defenders to come through in the SEC, and according to scouts in recent history. So he's a guy can really defend the run. And also can come at you off the edge. So 6'6", 276, young man out at Auburn, I think it's a good fit up in Minnesota for him.
All right. Carolina Panthers picking at number 19. Who you got, Gatmo?
Oh, I got him taking the tight end, young man that you had going earlier. I told you he was going to stay on the East Coast and come a little bit south. Kenyon Sadek, or the young man tight end out of Oregon. He's rated the number one tight end. His just listen to what they wrote about him from the combine. He ran a 4.39 40 at 241 pounds. Not only did he make him the fastest tight end ever to test at Indianapolis, he was the fastest, obviously, this year. It puts him in the conversation of one of the most explosive athletes to ever work out of the combine, regardless of position. They say his receiving ability has never been in question. He wins on all three levels of the field: legitimate speed, clean right breaks, hands to make contested catches in traffic. Put him in there with McMillan, makes Bryce Young a little bit better. And I like what Carolina does, that they pick him here.
Yep, Carolina really came on strong last year. Bryce Howard looked like he finally started to get it. Made a run to the playoffs, almost upset the Rams. Come so close to upsetting the Rams. And you want to take another step forward. I've got him going defense here though. I'm taking another Oregon guy, Dylan Thieneman, safety from Oregon. You can't count out them going offense. And then, if that Sadiq is there, I think they take him. But tough guy, tough safety, and he does great against the run. I think the Panthers need somebody big on that offense. I mean, the defensive side, and I think this is going to be the guy here, Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. Number 20. I'll let you take this one since it's your boys, the Cowboys again.
How about them Cowboys? I'm going defense. They need some help in the secondary as well as everywhere else on that side. I think this guy's a day one starter when he steps on the field with Dallas. He's a young man out of Clemson. He's number 3 in the board for cornerbacks. Avion Terrell, 5'11", 186-pounder. He's a starting caliber type corner. He'll contribute from day one, and that's exactly what Dallas needs. But I like Avion Terrell to go to the Cowboys in that 20th spot. And if they can get Terrell and the young man that I mentioned earlier, the linebacker out of Georgia, C.J. Allen, I think that would be a good first-round work here for Jerry Jones' crew in that front office. That
would definitely be an impressive first round for him. I've got him going defensive well and going secondary, but I've got to take him a different one. Jermod McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee. He's coming off a torn ACL, but now he's good, healthy, ready to go. Instinctive quarterback. He tackles well. I think this will be a good pickup because Dallas, one of the biggest deficiencies in the Dallas defense was that secondary last year. I mean, people were lighting them up. You got to have somebody big in the secondary. I think McCoy will be there. Jermon McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee, with number 20. 21. Pittsburgh Steelers. Do they – and I think, we talked earlier, it's possible with all those picks, they could move up. We could already be talked about the Steelers here. Somebody else could be picking here. If they are picking here, I think they go offensive lineman. And boy, I wish Ione was there, but I think of the guy you talked about pretty early. I'm taking Francis Mayoga, offensive lineman from Miami. We lost Isaac Seumalo to free agency, but right here, I'll say this. I could definitely see 3 guys that have not come off the board here at wide receiver. Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper, or Denzel Boston could go here. But if I'm picking, I'm going offensive lineman. And dadgummit, if we go up, move up, we better get eye on it. But I'm taking Mayoga here from Miami.
Well, the guy you're talking about, young man's a number 1 rated offensive lineman, so that wouldn't be too much of a fallback if Ioana's not there. Stevie, I can't wait to hear the crowd tomorrow night or Thursday night when they step up there and announce that first round pick to be quarterback Ty Simpson from Alabama.
Oh my gosh.
I think with 12 picks, I don't know if you take him in the first, but if you're going to go grab one, try to grab one that's Dan Orlansky is sure high on him. And here's the thing about Simpson. He's got a small sample size. He's played behind Bryce Young and Jalen Milroe, for 3 years. And he came in this year and played I think he started 17 games the last couple of years, whatever. But he's a guy that's got up some good numbers, seems pretty solid. But why not? I mean, there's a question mark, obviously, with Rodgers. Is he going to come back and play? I think he will. He's just taking his time off. Questions about Will Howard. I'm like you guys, give the guy a chance. But I just think you go get the guy, man. Go get Ty Simpson. And what do you think just to let me in on what to expect, if Pittsburgh would happen to announce his name as a first-round pick? What kind of crowd reaction you think will be in Pittsburgh?
I'm thinking Gattis. I hate to say this for the kid. I think it would not be met well. From what I'm hearing from the Pittsburgh podcast, I really don't think it would be met well. Not in the first round. Now, if he was a second-round pick, yeah, that would be okay. But they're totally expecting a receiver or an offensive lineman with that. But, wow. I want to see who's going to call the first pick for Pittsburgh. But, yeah, you never know, though. I mean, the kid definitely had a good year with Alabama. I don't know. I don't know. I'm shocked that you picked that one, but
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I have seen this in some mock drafts, and but yeah, we'll see.
You got to think McCarthy's in that coach now, so maybe.
Yeah, I know, and he wants a quarterback that he can mold and
That's
work
correct.
with. So we'll see. Hold on a second. Who's going to make the first pick? Well, I'll move on with that. 22. The Chargers. Who you got? Mo, with 22.
I think they need some offensive line help. Monroe Freeling from out of Georgia, number 5 offensive lineman, 6'7.5", 315 pounds. Said his movement ability is really great for a young man his size. He's your typical SEC lineman. Be a good pick for the other Harbaugh for the Chargers.
I've got him going defense. I got him taking Caden McDonald, another Ohio State guy, defensive tackle. Defensive line is when people talk about the offensive line with good reason, Herbert needs to be protected. But if they're going to get ahead of the Chiefs, they got to be able to shut down Mahomes. And this guy, defensive tackle, can disrupt the middle and put some pressure on Mahomes. So I think this is a good pick there. But got him taking Caden McDonald, Ohio State. 23. Your buddies, the Eagles. Who you got?
Well, they need some, Lane Johnson's been a long stalwart on that offensive line. He's getting older. I think they're going to go offensive line. They're going to go pick up Caleb Lomu, the 6'6.5", 313-pounder, who I think will be another Utah guy. They had Fano and him on the offensive line.
Good gosh.
These two big guys at Utah. Right now, he's a legitimate pass protector, going from 2 sacks allowed to 0 sacks all across his last 2 starting seasons. That's not a fluke. If you can keep your guys off the quarterback for 2 consecutive years, you're pretty darn good.
Definitely that. Can you imagine? Gosh, no. How in the world didn't they make a bigger run than they did with them 2 guys on the line? Eagles, I got them going offensive line here as well. Looks like you said, Lane Johnson is going to have to be replaced. I've got them going offensive tackle from Clemson, Blake Miller. He got good quickness, but one of the downsides, he does need to get a little bit stronger. But I think he'll be able to. They always seem to get these guys ready in the NFL, so I think that'll be no problem there. Number 24, Cleveland Browns with their second pick. And I've got one of these wide receivers coming off the board here that we talked about with the Pittsburgh pick that Pittsburgh could take. Denzel Boston, wide receiver from Washington. You got three quarterbacks there that could be. You never know which one of them is going to be there. Shador might be there. You never know. Watson, who knows? Depends on if Watson stays out of trouble. Dylan Gabriel is going to be there. But they definitely need some more weapons. Denzel Boston fits that need. Like we said earlier, with them taking something different with their first pick, they definitely can get a wide receiver later. And they got Denzel Boston here from Washington.
Well, I think Cleveland's going to go offensive line. I think they're going to draft Emmanuel Prignon. 6'4", 314-pounder young man out of Oregon. Oregon's had a lot of guys picked as well.
Yeah, they have. I was getting ready to say.
Of course, they made it to the Final Four of the national championship.
Yep.
Number 7 offensive lineman. He's a legitimate pass protector. Does a great job. And Shador or Gabriel or Watson, whoever's going to be there, will probably appreciate his work a lot on the offensive line because he's a legitimate pass protector.
I was getting ready to say they had Flacco in there for a little while last year and trade him to the Bengals. So why not Bengals? Why not trade Flacco to the Steelers so you can say he played for every AFC North team? Let's do that. But Cleveland, I don't know. I'm still not sold on him doing anything. I think Myles Garrett is probably going. If they don't do anything this year, I think Myles Garrett, no matter what that contract says, is going to be looking for a way out. I can't believe he didn't get out when he had the chance and signed that big contract. But I know why. I mean, money. But yeah, I don't know about that. 25th pick, the Chicago Bears. Who you got money?
The Bears made a big turnaround last year. They were 11-6. Caleb Williams is the real deal. Mm-hmm. I think at quarterback is starting to show. The number one thing they needed going into this draft is safety. And I got them going to Oregon, who the number 2 guy on the board in the safety department, Dylan Thieneman. Mm-hmm. 6 foot 201 pounds. He's the kind of safety who walks into a defensive meeting room on day one, immediately earns his keep. Sounds like a guy that Chicago type guy. He covers well, separates himself with the package as he has. I think he would be a great addition to this to the Chicago defense. 6 foot 201 pounder, had 96 tackles from the safety position.
Jeez.
That's a lot of tackles.
Yeah,
from the safety position. Had 1 sack, couple of interceptions. So this young man can play, and safety for the Bears will be good for him.
I've got them going a little differently. I've got them doing some protective for Caleb Williams. Like you said, I had my doubts about Caleb Williams, but that second half of last year, he proved to me he is the real deal. But giving him some offensive line help here. I've got him taking Malachi Lawrence. Oh, he's a defensive line here. They've got him offensive line. Defensive tackle from Central Florida, Malachi Lawrence. I've got him taking him, give him a little defensive help there. So my bad there, guys. He's a defensive lineman. But Malachi Lawrence, I got him.
Speaking of Caleb Williams, what I like about him so well, Stevie, is he handles himself very professionally.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't whine and cry about, not having this and not having that. He goes out there and plays and plays hard. And the guy who's really improved, he's a great professional. And I enjoy watching guys do well that are that caliber of person.
Yeah, I mean, and the way he started off his rookie year, I was kind of wondering how he was going to be like that if he was. But like I said, last year he proved to me he was a real deal, and he grew up a lot last year. They make that deep playoff run, and you look at the NFC North. That's going to be a tough division. With we got the Lions, the Packers, the Bears, and not the Buccaneers. Who's the fourth team in that North?
Oh man,
the Vikings.
That's right.
So them three last year, 3 of the 4 were playoff contenders most of the year. So watch out for that division this year with those quarterbacks. You got 3 great quarterbacks in there right now. So 26, the Buffalo Bills. Who you got, Gatmo?
Well, they need some edge help, man. And I like them going to Clemson for the 4th-rated edge rusher, T.J. Parker, 6'3" and a half, 263 pounds. They say his hands are his best. So they're the best on the edge rusher. He's violent, varied enough to keep tackles uncomfortable for 4 quarters, and a guy who would fit in well up in Buffalo. Going to be a little cooler in Buffalo than it was in Clemson, but they need some help on the edge for certain, and I think he'll help their defense.
I've got giving Josh Allen another weapon, and this is one of those receivers we talked about. He transferred from NC State to Texas A&M, had a breakout year last year. Of course, they've got DJ Moore, but they still need another receiver there. Casey Concepcion, wide receiver from Texas A&M, shifty, quick, and I think he would fit right in with Shaker and Moore right there. Josh, how much longer is that Buffalo Bills Super Bowl window going to be open?
I don't know. Good question. They got a new coach this year. Yep. You take Joe Brady. How he'll construct that and make it work for him, but I hate it for Josh Allen. He's been a really good quarterback over the years, and just
and he's
a competitor. But he's sometimes it's around you, and sometimes the talent's around you, sometimes it's not, and it just doesn't seem to fall that way. And you look all the way back to Buffalo's problems in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and it's kind of like that snake bitten. But here's a good thing for them going. They got new coaching staff. They got a brand new stadium to play in this year. So who knows? This might be the year.
Maybe so. San Francisco 49ers at 27. I've got them going. You got Ayuk and Jennings are gone. Mike Evans and Ricky Pearsall will be the wide receivers, the go-to wide receivers. But do they go wide receiver? No. I've got taken a backup for when Trent Williams calls it a day. And the guy you talked about earlier, Caleb Lemieux, offensive tackle out of Utah. I just think the 49ers, I would say this. It was amazing what they did last year with as many injuries as they had to get as far as they did. But gosh knows, those last 2 games against the Seahawks, they had no answer for Seattle. None whatsoever. Seattle got pressure whenever they wanted to on Brock Purdy. And I think they need a good offensive tackle to help protect Purdy. And I think Caleb Lemieux is going to be the answer here in Utah.
I like them going defense. And everybody else on the Ohio State defense has been drafted. This guy might as well get drafted. He's a nose tackle, Cade McDonald, 6'2". And look at it, he weighs 326 pounds. Here's something interesting, Steve. He had 65 tackles from the nose tackle spot and 3 sacks. So the guy's disruptive up front. Yeah. The perfect guy in the middle for this. He's a throwback nose tackle, who can make it happen. I think he would be big time disruptive for that San Francisco defense in the front.
28th, Houston Texans. Who you got first with the hit Texans? I got my.
Well, I think they need to help C.J. Stroud a little bit, and I like him going offensive line. Blake Miller, young man out of Clemson, 7th best offensive lineman in the draft. 6'7", 317. Pass protection is his forte. He's got that long, rangy size, 6'7", 317. I think he'd be a perfect pick to kind of maybe give C.J. Stroud a little more help back there, kind of where things just unfolded for Stroud so bad and late in the year. Maybe better protection will give him a little more confidence going into this year.
You know what? I'll say this. The Texans beat the Steelers in that playoff game despite C.J. Stroud. When you have somebody that was making a quarterback that was making the kind of mistakes he made against Pittsburgh, and you still managed to win going away at the end, you're lucky. Your defense is stout.
Same thing with New England when they played New England. Same exact.
Exactly. He was, and that's what you say. I mean, I've said it for years. These quarterbacks that don't have much experience, it's a whole different level when you go to the playoffs. It's one thing to go through the regular season, and everybody was talking up C.J. Stroud with good reason. They were saying this was the year he finally got it. He took a big step back with those two playoff games.
Well, you saw May kind of go through some of the same thing, Drake May, in just his second year. I mean, he was nearly efficient in the playoffs he was during the regular season.
Right.
But like you said, when you get to the playoffs, it's a different animal.
Exactly. I mean, I remember 2004, Ben Roethlisberger, he's 14-1 during the regular season and gets to that first playoff game against the Jets. And it's even that whole playoff, they managed to eke that game out against the Jets, but he did not have a strong game. Of course, he comes back against the Patriots the next week and has a worse game. So yeah, it's a different animal when you get to the playoffs. I've got him going offensive line to a guy out of Arizona State, Max Heineker. So I think they give C.J. Stroud a little help. I think we're on the same page there as far as them giving C.J. Stroud a little more help there. 29, the Kansas City Chiefs. I've got them going defense here. This is a pick they got from the Rams for trading Trent McDuffie. They get a younger and a cheaper replacement. And Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety from Toledo. Good skill set, good size, speed, and athleticism. But yeah, I think they go to the safety spot here with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Who you got, Mo?
I was listening to some of the NFL guys talk. They are extremely high on Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. He had 77 tackles and a couple of interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries from a strong safety. He's gonna make somebody a good NFL player. But I've got Kansas City going to defensive front with Peter Woods, young man out of Clemson, 6th best defensive lineman, 6'2.5", 298 pounds. He's got a quick first step and athletic ability that sometimes you just can't teach. He's got that knack for that ability. He had 30 tackles this year for Dabo, had a couple of sacks. So 6'2.5", 298 pounds along that front will certainly help Kansas City on the defensive front. They try to rebuild.
Okay, we're next up. The Dolphins taking their second pick in the first round. Who you got, Mo?
I got him going secondary. Jamon McCoy, 6'1", 188 pound out of Tennessee, 4th best defensive back. He belongs in the conversation as one of the most complete corners in this draft. I was trying to look up his numbers. 44 tackles. He had 4 interceptions for Tennessee and one of the bright spots for their defense.
I've got him going offense. I'm giving Malik Willis a weapon to work with. Fernando Mendoza's partner in crime. I got him taking Omar Cooper, who really they've got to have you got Tyreek's gone, Jalen Waddle's gone. So we talked about it earlier. They could probably pick up a receiver late with their later pick, and they go with Omar Cooper here, who I think has a great upside here. Had a huge year with Indiana with Mendoza, but I think he's got a good upside, and the Dolphins take Omar Cooper here at number 30.
I agree with you. I love Cooper. I'm surprised he wasn't as high in the rankings for wide receivers that he was, but I really like him. He was, like you said, the go-to guy. And boy, Willis is going to need somebody to go to down in Miami.
Exactly. It doesn't look like he might not have a running back either if that doesn't work out. I don't know how that's going to go. So number 31, New England Patriots, the AFC champions, runner-up. And I've got them doing something to protect Drake May here. Chase Basantis, offensive tackle with Texas A&M. New England, the Achilles heel in the playoffs for New England was the offensive line. When your quarterback, how many did they play? 3 postseason games, and he has sacked at least 5 times in each one of those games. And it's hard to win like that. And New England almost pulled it off. Mike Vrabel, I think he's going to take Chase DeSantis, offensive tackle, Texas A&M.
Well, I think New England's going to go a little bit different. I think they're going to take former athletic sports writer Diana Rossini at this pick.
Oh, I got you.
I couldn't afford that one. I had to go that. But I think she's already been selected, by the way.
Yeah.
They need an edge rusher. And Cassius Howell, 6'2.5" edge rusher, number 5 edge rusher in the class from Texas A&M. He's got great speed. He had 11.5 sacks, 41 pressures in the SEC. Pretty good stuff. Here again, this is another player with that short arm length, pretty much like Bain does. But if you get 11.5 sacks and 41 pressures in the SEC, you can play.
I can't believe. Well, Mike Vrabel's going to hate this podcast. Wow. Gattis threw Rossini's name in there. Yeah, Mike Vrabel did make a little his press conference. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Did say he had talked to his players about him making better choices and stuff like that. So we'll see. 32. The Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Who you got, Gatmon?
Well, they need a running back. They lost Kenneth Walker. And, man, was he really good for them, especially in that Super Bowl. They're going to miss him. But I think they're going to go running back, and I think they're going to go to Jeremiah Love's backfield mate, who's the second-rated running back in the draft, Jadarian Price, 5'11", 203 pounds. He's a guy that checks all the boxes and catch the football out of the backfield. Really a good player, and he fits right in. He looks to me to be a Seattle-type player.
Yeah. I'm trying to understand the reasoning behind letting Walker go. Not even I just, as big as he was in the playoffs, Super Bowl MVP, there's got to be something else that. And I know I can't remember the other guy, other guy in the backfield that got hurt before the playoffs. But that right there, his second guy got hurt before the playoffs, and he took up the rest of the load, the whole load, and still performed like he did. How do you let that go? Especially, and then, I know you don't have control of it after you let him go, but he goes to a division rival, with the Chiefs. Not a division rival, but he goes to Kansas City. I'm still thinking Seattle's in the AFC West for some reason. They're in the NFC now, but gosh knows, I was shocked to see Kenneth Walker leave Seattle, but strange thing.
I see a lot of NFL teams do that with running backs now.
Yeah, it's just like running back is not a priority. But let me tell you this: he got MVP. He deserved MVP because that first half, he was making the plays that kept drives going for Seattle.
Absolutely, he did.
That was definitely deserved player. If he hadn't got player of the game, I would have been upset. And I don't have a dog in the fight there. I've got them going defense to add to that. They don't call them Legion of Boom anymore. I forgot what they call them now. But whatever that defense is, Colton Hood, cornerback from Tennessee. Tariq Woolen is gone, so they need somebody to help out and fit in that cornerback position. I think they they go with Tariq Woolen here. So, first round, I can't believe Ty Simpson. I'm looking here at what the WalterFootball.com second round draft says here. They've got Ty Simpson going 34th to the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona, I hope you guys get him. I'm sorry to say. But I'm saying that, but I guarantee he's going to do that, and he's going to turn into a hell of a daggum quarterback. And I'm going to say, if only they had picked like Gattis said so. But
and we had five teams didn't have a first round pick. You got the Falcons, the Packers, the Colts, the Broncos. 4 of them I think didn't have a first round pick, and you got Dallas, Washington, Buffalo did not have a second round. So
Pittsburgh got every round.
Yeah.
Baltimore, they got Baltimore taking Jadarian Price at 45th. C.J. Allen to Tampa Bay at 46th. Who else we got in here? Just any interest up here. I don't know who that is. Malachi Fields, wide receiver from Notre Dame, going to Chargers. I don't see any quarterbacks besides Ty Simpson going. I'll tell you this. One thing you're not going to see this year is teams trading 2027 picks. They are trying to stockpile them because just like they said last year, they think that quarterback class next year is going to be awesome with Arch Manning and others there. But that was supposed to be how it was this year, because I think that's why Pittsburgh has so many picks this year, because they were thinking this is going to be the quarterback draft this year. And I'm just scanning through to see when the next quarterback's taken, because I'm figuring it's going to be the Beck kid.
Either he or Nussmeier from LSU, one of the two, I think.
Yep. Gosh. 76th pick, Carson Beck to the Steelers.
Oh, wow.
Yowza. But I'm excited about the draft coming to Pittsburgh. Hopefully Pittsburgh will make a splash. I had it up here earlier, some of the people that are going to be calling out the draft picks. I know James Conner, who went to Pitt in college and played for the Steelers, was drafted by the Steelers. He's coming back to make one of the picks for Arizona. So trying to do the hometown. I think I want to say Bettis may do a pick. There was a whole list now. Joey Porter is going, which there's no telling what Joey Porter will say when he comes out. That might be another Drew Pearson deal there, or worse. It could be worse than Drew Pearson
right
with Joey Porter's mouth. But so Gatmo, you still got your show going on. Tell us a little bit about your show you got going on.
Well, we have it on Arrow 98.3 every Thursday night, 7 o'clock. You can listen here locally in 98.3 here in the Murfreesboro area, Southside Virginia, Northeastern North Carolina, 98.3, or you can go online and just click on our website, arrow98.3.com, and click listen live. You can hear it every Thursday night. It's kind of centered more around Chowan University, and it's called the Coach's Corner. But, here in a couple of weeks, there won't be any more sports being played at Chowan until late August, early September. So I feel it would, who I can get and kind of make it all sports like I used to. Jay's kind of told me, I kind of tried to bargain with him when he first asked me to come back and wanted to concentrate on Chowan, to let me have off from like end of May to mid-August, because nothing's going on campus. He said, well, I like to keep you going. You talk about what you want to talk about. So I got a little more leeway than maybe I've had in the past, but I still enjoy doing it. And maybe we can get you on sometime this summer.
You just let me know. I'll be there.
We'll talk meat. We'll talk meat prices or something. We'll talk about.
You don't want to talk meat prices.
You on them? You actually on there more than I am.
Oh, good Lord! I hear it all the time. I heard you on the radio the other day. I was like, the first thing I say to them, I'm sorry, but they make me do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. This is like we said, I think it's the 18th year we've done this draft, and I will let you know next week Because there's a lot of different picks up here between me and Gattis this year. Some years
we only had two that we agreed on.
The first pick was one of them,
and then lemon at 14.
Lemon. So somebody's going to pull ahead here. Somebody's going to distance themselves from the other one. But Gatmo, appreciate you coming on as always, guys. And we're going to have you on again soon.
Sure, man. We'll do it sometime. It's a pleasure, man. I appreciate you asking me. I always feel good when we get back together, to talk about it. It's kind of, we don't have Mallory back when she was about 8 or 9 years old in the studio with us, but we used to have a good time doing that thing.
Yeah, Mallory made her radio debut right there on Gatmo's show, talking professional wrestling of all things. I still got some of those pictures from back then. I have to post that. Mallory probably won't want me to post those, but anyway. But guys, that's going to do it for the Final Score tonight, our NFL mock draft. You guys be sure to tune in Thursday night. Make sure you make sure you watch the draft. It should be interesting. Friday, I think it goes to Friday and Saturday this year. So, but that place should be packed. All right, guys, have a good week. Thanks again, Gatmo. We'll see you next time on the Final Score.